Hi Sagittarius, my name is Audrey Alison and welcome to your May 2015 forecast for the month. I'm very happy to be here. Thank you for subscribing and tuning in and liking and sharing these videos. I really appreciate your support. This forecast is for Sagittarius and Sagittarius rising. Let's start the month with a full moon on the 3rd of May at 13 degrees Scorpio in your 12th house, the sign right before you. So a full moon in the 12th, I actually think is a pretty awesome experience because the full moon brings an awareness in a sector of psychic ability and inner growth and spirituality. So there's an illumination in this sector for you. It's a very quiet area for the full moon, so I don't really mind this, except this full moon is squaring Jupiter at 3 degrees of Leo in your 9th house that you naturally govern as a Sagittarius on the solar wheel, the 9th house of adventure and foreign travel and higher education and learning and higher knowledge. So a square is tension. So there could be some tensions in your belief system, in what you are drawn to naturally study or believe in, Sagittarius, on the 3rd and throughout the few days of the full moon energy. Full moon energy actually lasts a 28-day lunar cycle, or at least a 14 days leading up to the new moon. But this focus or this tension might create a new path for you, a new belief system. The 9th house is that. What are you spiritual about? What do you believe in? That could be changing. That could be something could be shown to you that you need to see with the full moon in that area. Now we have our Uranus-Pluto square that is at a 3-degree separation, although dissipating, going away from each other as Pluto retrogrades at 15 degrees and Uranus at 18 degrees of Aries. This is in between your 5th and 2nd house. The 5th house of creative endeavors and children, and the 2nd house of resources. There might not be a lot of money right now or tension to provide for the children or for those creative passions that you're wanting to develop. You could feel some tension regarding this and maybe upheaval with Uranus, that you don't get to focus on things as much as you wanted to because maybe the money isn't there, or perhaps the freedom isn't there that you so desire, Sagittarius. Now on the 7th of May, Venus, the planet of love and money, enters Cancer. This is through the 5th of June. And now this is your 8th house of shared resources. This is shared money, investments. It's also intimacy and sex and regeneration and rebirth and death and all things Scorpio, all things that govern the 8th house. But Venus loves to smooth over the area that she's in. So the borrowed money, the loans, the investors could be coming through, because what I love about this transit for Venus is once she gets into Cancer, she will then trine Neptune in Pisces at 9 degrees, a very dreamy energy and even delusional, and everything might be copacetic in your intimacies. You might be very rose-colored glasses or blinded by love on the time of the 7th. And eventually, Venus will trine with Chiron, who's also stationed in Neptune at 21 degrees, the wounded healer. So love, healing energies in between the 8th and the 3rd house of communications. So the communicating with the intimate partner, or even people in business who you are sharing resources with, the communication might feel very easy, effortless. Although you might want to double check the facts with Neptune involved, because the trine will feel amazing, but maybe not so many facts are involved in the communication there, because there is a little bit of delusion surrounding that energy. When Venus does enter Cancer, he'll square Uranus and Aries because they're cardinal signs, and the 5th house and the 8th house will then there'll be some tension. So perhaps any investors for the shared resources, it might just take their time coming through, although that they're around. It'll play differently for each person, but what I do love is that the double energy of Venus with Chiron and this smoothing over in this area, I feel like you'll get some information, 3rd house, Mercury, regarding property, 8th house, wills, inheritances. There could be something big for you there. We'll look in the cards also in a little bit to see what kind of coin cards you might be getting for just that. Now on the 11th, Mars enters Gemini, your polar opposite sign, another mutable sign like you are. And he'll be there through the 24th. And this is your 7th house of soulmates for you, your marriage, or your business partnerships if you're not married. When Mars does enter Gemini, though, Sag, he will be in direct opposition with a retrograde Saturn at 2 degrees. Retrograde Saturn at 2 degrees, your sign of Sagittarius. So this is affecting the 1st and 7th house. Now you, the 1st, the self, and the 7th, the relationship. Opposition, is directly across from one another, 180 degrees. Watch your tone and aggression and temper. Mars is anger and frustration and aggravation to his detriment. He's also action, drive, determination, will, and power to his positive. But when he's in opposition with Saturn, who is restriction and control, you might feel very stifled in your relationship and aggressively expressing this. So I would really watch how you're delivering your message to your partner because you want it to be received perfectly. And we are also dealing with a Mercury retrograde this month that I'll get to in a second. On the 18th, we have our new moon at 26 degrees Taurus, and this is the 6th house of health, also the 6th house of pets and work and daily routine and regimen. Set your intentions on if you'd like to, the new moon will start something new. You could start a new position. You could start a new job, but you could also discover something new about your health routine that you need to incorporate into your life. This new moon is in opposition with that retrograde Saturn, 2 degrees Sagittarius in your 1st house. So you have some opposing energies in the 6th house of health. Maybe you know what this feels like? It's like you could be fighting something, like you're trying to not get a full-blown cold, but you keep repressing it a little bit. Now, on that 18th, the new moon, that's when Mercury retrogrades. And this retrograde's a little funky because it's very long. The placement of Mercury in this sign is long. Mercury's retrograding at 13 degrees Gemini in this 7th house of relationships. So, as much as there's this Venus healing energy trining Chiron and Neptune, and you're, smoothing things over in your communications, Mercury's retrograding. So there's kind of like, you can only get so far. You might want to analyze, review, use the retrograde to your advantage, revise, rewrite, study. Because he'll be retrograde through the 11th of June. He'll go direct then at 4 degrees of Gemini, but he has to go through this 7th house of relationship sector all over again. So he doesn't leave. He remains in Gemini until July 8th. So Mercury's in your marriage sector for close to 7.5 weeks, almost 8 weeks. So that's rare for him. He doesn't usually spend that long in a sign, but the retrograde impedes the holdup for him, or the development for him. So you want to make sure your communications are coming across in your relationship. Say only what is necessary and make sure it's what you mean and not some kind of, passive-aggressive, nebulous energy that can't be understood or interpreted. The sun enters Gemini on the 21st of May in this marriage sector, there to smooth over some of the maybe eruptions or weird disruptions, I should say, not eruptions, but disruptions that occur in the retrograde through that 7th house of relationships. Also, when a retrograde happens in the 7th, you could hear from past relationships or be Mercury, mental, the mind, and the intellect, the analyzation. You could be focusing in your mind about past loves, past relationships in the 7th house. The Mercury retrograde tends to bring up a lot of nostalgia and any unfinished feelings or residual feelings of relationship of the past you could see come through between the 18th of May and the 11th of June. Let me get to your cards. I'm using the Alchemical deck by Robert M. Place, and we'll see what the message is. I think the majority of the energy, you really need to watch your aggression and your temper, because you are a fire sign, and Mars is in your opposite sign of Gemini, really filtering energy down to you across that 180-degree mark, but bringing it into mostly, predominantly your relationship. So watch your tone with your loved one. And your temper. Don't let me hear anybody getting crazy on their significant others. Okay, here's the cards for Sag. 2 of Coins. Opposition, but with money. So the 8th house or the 2nd house. Oh yeah. Okay, any resources that you are waiting on, or promotion, increase, checks coming through, it just feels like this, like there's a little bit of stuck energy right now for the money coming in. Temporary feeling. Let's see what else the cards have. But I kind of felt like I would get some coin cards here. Okay, I got the 2 of Coins. Now I'm getting the 2 of Swords. The opposition, again, in the 7th house or in relationship. Let's see. Okay, but now here's the bride and the groom, the marriage, the 7th house of marriage, the 4 of Wands. See what else comes up. Well, 2 cards came up. The King of Cups or Vessels, usually a Scorpio male, but it could be Pisces or Cancer. And then the 3 of Cups, friendship, trust, support. Let's see. Okay. Sag, any monies that are on hold might cause tension and frustration, the duality, the 2 of these in the relationship. The 2 of these people might be experiencing some kind of delay or hold up with finances that might make the speech a little bit aggressive. You want to watch that. This is psychic ability. If it doesn't apply to an actual person, I could interpret this as a water sign male is offering help and support to you through these difficult times. But this could also be using your intuition and self-fulfillment, finding answers within. Because you see how the whale is blowing water out of his blowhole into his own chalice? He's supporting himself naturally. He doesn't need the influence of other people helping him. So hone it in on your own, and maybe some quiet, reflective work is what you need. And also the support of others and friendships and people that you really trust. This is not superficial relationships. These are not Facebook friends. These are real, tangible, supportive people that you can have over and speak face to face to. Can be with you through this time. And you know, this and this could be the shared resources sector of the 8th house that Venus enters. Venus, the goddess, the goddesses, the beauty, the Venusian card, the energy of this card mixed with this is the 8th house of shared money, loaning. But make sure who you're loaning money to or getting loans from is the right kind of energy. You don't want to bite off more that you can chew in the loan department, Sagittarius. Only what you can pay back and what you know you will be able to pay back. My name is Audrey Alison. I read all through the week. Thank you for joining me. If you'd like to read personally with me, if you'd like to book a reading, I do read all through the week. I do astrology, astro tarot combo readings, or just use the psychic tarot. It's up to you. You can find me at audreyallison.com. I'm wishing you a sweet May and have a beautiful day. Bye.